This Valentine's Day weekend, you can experience Christopher Stoll's The Sleeping Beauty at Oregon Ballet Theater. Set to Tchaikovsky's enchanting score, this fairy tale ballet is a visual feast of dancing, sumptuous sets, and opulent costumes. All performances feature live music performed by the Oregon Ballet Theater Orchestra. The show runs February 13th through the 21st. Get your tickets now at obt.org. That's obt.org. Today on CityCast Portland, we're continuing our Neighborhood Guide series where we talk with Portlanders about the good, bad, and ugly of where they live. And this time, we're actually leaving Portland and heading about 30 minutes south to history-rich Oregon City. That's where Portland-based event planner and friend of the show, Amy Theberg, has been living these past few years. Amy's company Revel is the organizing genius behind pretty much all of the street fairs in the city, the Montevilla Jazz Festival. She even helped us put on the 503-day block party last year, so she knows Portland, our likes, our dislikes, and she keeps telling me it's worth the trip down. So buckle up, because we're going to Oregon City. It's Tuesday, February 3rd. I'm Claudia Meza, and this is what Portland's talking about. Full disclosure to all of our listeners, Amy was the organizing genius behind 503 Day last year. Without her, we would have not been able to do much of anything, honestly. We would have maybe got that street shut down, and then it would have been a lot of like cha-cha-cha-cha from, from the three of us. So, Amy, I feel like I'm eternally always saying thank you, but thank you once again. And I'm so glad our listeners can actually get to know you.
Well, thank you for the opportunity to work on an event that was one of the best of my career so far. It just was a blast. So thank you.
Aw. Well, before we get into specifics of what to check out in Oregon City, do you want to remind people where it is? Because I feel like a lot of people think they know where Oregon City is, and they're always wrong.
Well, if you're a person who is a shopper and you go to the bins on McLaughlin, you just keep going and you just keep driving down McLaughlin until you cross the river, and then you're in Oregon City. It's the original terminus or the Oregon Trail. And yeah, so the Willamette River, the Clackamas River, kind of the two little corners that surround the bottom of Oregon City. So there's lots of small towns surrounding it, but Gladstone and Milwaukee are sort of the closest. It's about 15, 20 miles south of Portland on 205. Let's just say that. Let's keep it simple for once.
For once in our lives, we're going to keep things simple. The other thing I think is really interesting about Oregon City is that there are these three distinct areas, and it's almost like a city that is, if people didn't really quite understand, it just looks like a city that's built on a wall. Just keeps going up
Very
and up
much
and up.
So we have the downtown area, which is along the river. And then don't worry, we are going to get into the municipal elevator later. Okay. But at the next shelf, they call it, is the second shelf of Oregon City, or sort of like part of the original settlement, is that area on the bluff. And then they keep going up the hill, and then that's where the most of the town lives. That's like where the grocery stores are and the schools, and Clackamas Community College notably is up there.
Okay. Amy, you're originally from Portland. This is a new-ish city for yourself. Tell me why you decided it's going to be Oregon City. What's your best pitch? Why do you love living there?
Let's say it's going to be Oregon City for now.
Okay.
Oregon City is an experiment for me, and I'm going to just suck all of the glorious marrow out of it while I'm here and likely come back to Portland eventually. Yes, I'm a North Portlander in heart, soul, and spirit still. Anyway, we moved to Oregon City because we wanted to get some serenity and some land and be in a quieter place. And my husband's a Portland firefighter. And so getting away from some of the craziness of his job and of my job as an event planner, we thought it'd be cool to be out here in a much quieter, less traffic-y environment. And we have that. We have a little piece of land and lots of beautiful trees and a beautiful view and a massive garden. And your money just goes a lot further. So we sold my small house in North Portland and were able to get a big house on a big piece of land in Oregon City,
Nice.
which is how capitalism works.
Yeah, thank you for that little brief. You're like, and that's the end of my TED Talk. But pitch it to somebody else, because what I heard a pitch was like, this is why Amy bought into Oregon City.
Yeah. So we are surrounded by rivers. We're surrounded by forest. I think too, if Portland has in the actual Portland city limits 600,000 people, we have probably 40,000 people that live in this small place. So nothing is crowded. There's 16 stoplights. It's not a verified number, but that's my rough estimate.
Just a guesstimate? Okay.
And there's a fabulous farmers market at Clackamas Community College and a lot of amazing programs up there, despite the fact that it's not the nexus of all things culture like Portland truly is. We do have many museums. We have small record stores. We have small galleries. We have a lot of artists working in warehouses and shops and studios here because they're a lot cheaper. And then just so much natural beauty. If you love to paddleboard, kayak, hike, bike, this is a fabulous place to do it.
Nice. And you didn't even talk about the elevator, which I think is a bit of a selling point. No, okay. I just got a big eye roll.
Because I need a full chapter for elevator. I thought we were just going to headline elevator. So the municipal elevator is the only city-owned and operated and maintained elevator in the country. There's this really nerdy thing, and as an event planner, I want to throw an event. Don't steal this if you're also an event planner, or just call me and we can talk about it. But there's a contest and the Guinness Book of World Records for the steepest street in the country. And right now they say the steepest street is in San Francisco, but there are some Oregon City nerds who say that the elevator is actually the steepest street because technically it's a city-owned roadway.
Yeah.
And so I think we should have a steep street festival here in downtown Oregon City. And I don't know exactly what it means yet, but we're going to have that. So please let me know if you're interested in RSVPing.
I love that you're like patent pending.
Exactly. So the municipal elevator, there were native trails going from the top of the hill down to the water. And that was where most of the resources were. But most of the people lived on high ground because of the changing river levels. And then when the settlers came, they followed suit and built most of their settlements up on the top of the hill. However, that below was where the water source was, as well as they built the railroad going along the river. And so that connected them to Portland and deeper ports. So the elevator started as a lock system and kind of moved up and down with water. And then eventually it became electrified. And it's still very 60s, very Jetsons-esque, very strange and very cool. And absolutely one of the best places to view a sunset and look over to West Lynn across the river into downtown Gladstone, downtown Oregon City. It's super beautiful. Willamette Falls is also here. So I don't know if anybody's ever taken like a jet boat river tour.
Oh, I know a few people who've done that.
Have you done that before?
All Amy hears about is that I love the jet. Like, I'm just like, so anyhow, jet boating. Nice little plug there.
Yeah. And I hope that you have now earned a little bit of stock in their company.
Seriously.
But if you take the long jet boat tour, it turns around at Willamette Falls. And I do believe, someone fact check me on this, but I do believe that it's the second largest waterfall in the country behind Niagara Falls.
What?
So if I'm really wrong, I'm going to be incredibly embarrassed and shamed.
We're going to move on, and Julia Fiaioni, our senior producer, will be fact-checking us. Can you see the Willamette Falls from your house?
Yes. So one of the things that I love about this is that from my house, I can walk to the bluffs and the elevator. So the bluffs overlook Willamette Falls, and it's absolutely exquisite. There's a couple of viewpoints that you can drive to, and those are on Highway 99 or McLaughlin. As well on the Oregon City side. You can kind of see it from 205 on the Westland area. as well, but you can see it better from the Oregon City side. So that is an absolutely magical part of living here.
So we've talked a bit about the positives. Now, what are a few of your personal Oregon City gripes?
I think that we wanted some serenity and a slowdown. And then I found out or realized that I'm not serene or very slow. So it's not a great fit for me personally, but that's just what that is for small towns. It's also really hard to make friends, full stop, but it's hard to make friends, especially if you don't have kids, I feel like. There's a lot
Oh.
of like mommy meetups and elementary school blanks or whatever. And so when you don't have that, it's just tough to meet friends. I will say that I think Oregon City and a lot of small towns in Oregon have the reputation of being sort of small minded.
Mm.
And I will say that there's a lot of really amazing things happening here. Yes, I'm talking about the gripes. So I'll say that, like, up the hill from me, there was a corner that was like a pro Trump and like very Republican based, not really protesters, but just like braggers on the
Just bragging.
just bragging up there for a while. And then now there's about double the amount of people that show up on the opposite side of the street
Mm.
every week. And they're sort of counter protesting, but they're all really just like out there doing their thing. And it is very peaceful. So I think that that's really cool. And then, yeah, the shows, the bands, the art museums, the poetry readings, the things that I really love to go out to do aren't here, but that just kind of reinvests my time in my home, my garden, with my dog, my husband, books, things like that.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's take a quick break here. When we come back, where to take someone new to Oregon City, which, by the way, a big reason we're doing this is because I want to do a whole day in Oregon City now that I have a car.
It would be my pleasure.
Yay. Pivot Portland Management wants to remind you that the Winter Light Festival is coming back to downtown February 6th through the 14th, and it's absolutely free. If you've not been, you gotta go check it out, at least once. It's a citywide celebration of public art, creativity, and community. And this year, some incredible artists will be featured in a few of Pivot Properties' buildings. If you head over to pdxwlf.com, you'll find a map of all the light installations on view. Like last year, there was a massive actual fire-breathing dragon sculpture near the waterfront. It was such a spectacle. Pivot is a big supporter of our downtown district and its vibrant community, and they encourage you to explore all it has to offer. So bundle up, head downtown, and experience the Portland Winter Light Festival. You can learn more about Pivot at pivotportland.com. That's pivotportland.com.
CityCast Portland is brought to you by pdxhomeloan.com. Local lender James Adair has been doing residential mortgages for over 20 years. He'll work with you to set the strategy, explain the process, and ensure you maximize the return on your real estate investment. He's also a certified liability advisor, so if you're looking for a way to recover financially from the holidays, he can help optimize paying off your debt using options like a second mortgage to consolidate non-mortgage debts. Take advantage of a strategic conversation to find out if you could pay off those holiday bills much quicker than you imagined. Visit pdxhomeloan.com to access the calendar and book your free strategy call with local lender James Adair, serving Oregon, Washington, and California buyers. James Adair, NMLS 2727666 with Better Mortgage Corporation, NMLS 330511, and Equal Housing Lender.
All right, so where would you take someone, I don't know, me, new to the area? I pop in, I don't know, maybe 10 on a Saturday or Sunday.
Great. Come over to my house, wake
Okay.
me up, we'll
Okay.
make some coffee, and then we will go to the farmer's market at Clackamas Community College. I
Ooh.
already kind of prepped that, but I do think that Clackamas Community is like a great resource for the area. Not only do they have programs for the arts, so they really have amazing theater and music programs and shows there, which is really cool. They have a huge outdoor sculpture garden that you can walk through anytime. They have a lot of sports, like their softball team's really good and their football team. So they have things that you can go watch and do. But the farmers market is really good. A lot of the people from Portland State Farmers Market that
Yeah.
is so beloved, and other markets in the area, they're in this area.
Oh, okay.
So instead of driving their things an hour into town and setting up, they're driving their things 5 minutes into town and setting up. And so this is sort of like a farmer's market. It's really legit and it's super good.
I love this. You're like, this is where the farmers go. Yeah, okay, I
That's
get
right.
it.
And the sourdough is 25 minutes fresher than you can get it in Portland. Okay.
Wait, what day is the farmers market? Is Saturday?
It's on Saturdays. So it's this time of year for a couple months. They go every other Saturday, but it's mostly, I think, about 10 months out of the year, it's year round.
Okay, so I got my super fresh
Yeah.
sourdough.
So we'll get our things, we'll put it in the cooler, and then we will probably go downtown Oregon City and we'll just cruise around. Great antiquing. If you were a kid from the 80s or 90s, there's a place called the Coin Corner, and it has just a lot of crazy toys where you walk through and you're like, I had that thing. Wait, was that mine? And like the little vacuum that like had the poppers inside of it toy, like those types of toys. They're not all in the landfill, so that's exciting.
This looks so cool. It is. It's like an old school toy store, but it really does feel like you're going into someone's collection.
Yeah, and they have everything from like military ephemera to cards and coins to toys to old magazines.
They have so many Star Wars things.
So much Star Wars. And then we can walk from there over to like, there's a little record store. I think it's called Oregon City Records. I might be wrong, but there's a little record store right there on that same corner. Oregon City Antiques is super magical, great prices, mostly all antiques, but a few artisans are in there as well that have some things that are handmade, like a woodworker. Michelle Peterson Designs is a favorite. There's a lot of really interesting things in that spot. Some very old stuff too, which I love.
Mhm.
And then we would probably go to Tony's Fish House.
Ooh.
Again, a favorite of mine. If you love going out to the Oregon coast and getting fresh crab or like smoked salmon spread, Tony's has it too. So you can go and get your fresh crab that they will cook and clean there for you. They have a small menu of things that you can eat in house or you can get it to go. So it's like a really super fresh, amazing fish market that I love. We already got sourdough that morning at the farmer's market, but they also have sourdough at Tony's Fish House too. We're pretty sourdough rich out here. It's very trad wifey, so you can get it in many places here.
This looks good. We real quick. It's been family owned since 1936. I just need to shout that out because that's so impressive.
It's been there for a really long time, and there's a lot of places down in the downtown corridor love to have the historical pictures of what it once was, because a lot of the buildings are preserved and are, at least 100 years old. My house, where them tuning in live from, is like 130 years old.
Wow.
It's a lot of rich history of like early architecture and things from the settlers, but there's, also a lot of very problematic pioneer conversations happening all the time. But
I would imagine, it was like one of the first settlements, right?
It is, yes.
Yeah, in Oregon. So I imagine that Oregon's very problematic history as a state has deep roots in Oregon City is what I'm thinking.
It's highlighted here, and there are a lot of really cool things about it, and a lot of things that aren't as cool about it. And I'll talk a little bit more about that at the end, I think. But one place that is also heavily on my list would probably make you go to is the library. The original building of the library is there, plus they've added on to it, and it's absolutely amazing library.
Amy, are you gonna force me to read about the racist history of Oregon City at this library just to enjoy some sourdough?
Yeah, we're gonna read about Oregon. Well, the cool thing about it is that it has a really, probably the largest collection of original books like from Oregon that were written here at the turn of the century about, especially, I love the books about like the naturalism, the fish and the wildlife, and it's not all bad news in those books, and you can't check them out, but in the library they have a roaring fireplace and beautiful chairs that you can sit in.
Okay, now I want to go.
Sort of a la Timberline Lodge. So you can sit and read there.
That is so cool.
It's really lovely.
Nice.
But anyway, so now we have crab, we have books, we have sourdough twice, we have farmers market produce, and then we would go and do a picnic at the Bluffs.
Ooh.
So as previously mentioned, the Bluffs are what sort of the shelf that overlooks downtown. That's where the elevator, you get on and off it. You can see Willamette Falls and you can just see this beautiful valley. You can look at West Lynn across the street. You have our tiny little historic bridge and all of downtown. So I just like to lord over the town with a cup of coffee or a whiskey soda whenever I can down at the bluffs.
Oh man, this is gorgeous. You can really, really see. I'm looking online, by the way, the Willamette Falls. And I got to tell you, my only POV of the falls have been on a jet boat doing 360s at its
Doing
base.
donuts down on the
Just
river.
doing down. So I haven't really enjoyed the majestic view of especially I don't know how big it is. I haven't seen it from an aerial perspective. But I do just want to say that Julia got back to us and she said that Willamette Falls, while recognized as the second largest waterfall in the US by volume, so correct, Amy, after Niagara, of course, is significantly smaller in both height and scale. It's more just like the amount of water.
Yeah, so it kind of like wraps around. It looks like multi-city blocks in sort of a cove, and the water just like dumps down it in a natural dam sort of feature. And it's really fun. Like we'll go out there in the evening and just be hanging out, and we'll hang out until like we see a log go over the Willamette Falls, which I do believe is probably one of the original games that happened here in Oregon City.
Look, here's a log. Oh, and there's Billy on the log.
Yeah, they used to bet on it in the saloon down on the river.
Well, where would you take someone on the perfect date?
So I did come up with 3 because I'm bad at following the rules, but they're for different flavors of people.
Okay.
So there is actually a speakeasy here, and I can't believe how many people still don't know about it and that it's not completely overrun. So I'm about to blow it for everybody. It's called the Hardware Store. And it's a beautiful basementy but gorgeous spot. There's a bar upstairs, downstairs. There's a restaurant and a coffee shop as well. And it's an event space upstairs. It's sort of like Secret Society, if anyone was ever there, or like the Evergreen. It's a very cool spot. So going down there is always really fun. And then you can quickly, in about 5 minutes, walk to the elevator. We would go downtown to Nebbiolo Italian restaurant. The thing I really like about that place is that it has monthly, like seasonal menus. So they work with what's in season. They'll send an email out and say, it's hatch chili season, or don't worry, you're going to love rutabaga ravioli. And they'll just do things with rutabagas you've never heard of. And so they just work with the seasons, which is my favorite way to eat. So I love Nebbiolo. It's just really romantic, really twinkly, very cool spot. If you were looking for like a books and coffee date, I really love White Rabbit Books downtown. Okay. It's like also a gift shop, but they have a ton of very inclusive events, art events, kids events, LGBTQ events, very progressive and very cool things going on there, and really awesome coffee. But I love to get a pot of tea. Okay. And just like hang out with a book there, and it's totally charming and amazing. And then the Highland Still House is a really cool bar that overlooks Willamette Falls. It has outdoor seating where you can take your dog.
Oh, okay.
And then it's sort of an Irish pub vibe, and great fish and chips, amazing whiskey selection. It's super cool. And then again, you could walk along the Bluff Trail at sunset because we're being romantic. You go down to this really cool bar called The Verdict, which is across the street from the courthouse. So you can watch people go in and out of the courthouse, and then all the lawyers hang out at The Verdict. It has sort of like an old McMenamins revamped kind of vibe. It's very neat.
These dates are so good. I just want to recap that the first date was like, here's a fun little like speakeasy bar that has food, but we're going to go to this really nice Italian seasonal restaurant. Then the second date would be like, we're going to go to a bookstore, get a pot of tea, just chill. And the third is like, we're going to go to an Irish pub to like cocktail place.
Yeah. Because I don't know what you're at the mood for or how long you've been chatting with this person on Hinge, but let's go for it.
I love it. Well, let's take a quick break here. And when we come back, where the locals are hanging out in Oregon City. All right, so we have spots where you're going to take someone to impress them. We have spots where you're going to take someone to romance them. Now, I just want to know, like, where are the people hanging out? Like, where are your Slims? And I know you know about Slims, Amy, because I see you there sometimes.
There is no other Slims on Earth. We'll start with that. Corner 14 Food Cart Pod is a favorite of mine. They have a full bar, they have TDs, they do really fun things, like sip and paint nights, trivia nights, things like that. And then they have this massive covered outdoor area with a fire pit at every table.
Oh, man.
So, of course, it's a great place to take kids and dogs and all that. The other thing that I really like is I was really worried about losing access to international food when I moved to Oregon City, just because it's a smaller town and I just didn't know what the food scene would be like. Of course, we have ranch pizza, we have a canard here, we have McMinimans, we have things that you can find in Portland. But the Corner 14 Food Pod in particular has probably 15 carts, and I'd say 12 of them are of a different nationality. So
Oh,
you can
wow.
eat all around the world just on one corner. Right across the street from there is Oregon City Brewing, or OC Brewing, and they make probably like 20 different beers on site.
Oh,
They
wow.
also have outdoor space as well as food cart pods. And they do, I think, have a few fire pits as well. But Corner 14 and Oregon City Brewing have awesome live music multiple times a week. So that's really, really fun to go eat around the world and drink local beer and hang out, especially if you have kids and or dogs that you want to bring along with you. I also love the opportunity to be able to be outside in the wintertime in
Oh, for
Oregon because
sure.
it's hard to find that. So those are both places that you can do that. I ate at Oregon City Brewing today and I sat outside. Watershed Cafe is a newer addition to downtown Oregon City. And they too do sort of a farm to table breakfast menu, and they have amazing coffee, really inventive baristas. And it's a really cool place to go on a breakfast date, a business meeting for a cup of coffee, or just sit in there alone with a book. But I run into like the people from the gym and the people from my walking crew and things like that in there all the time. It's where the who's who of Oregon City hang out.
See, it's super cute. I'm looking. They have a breakfast burrito I would like to get involved with
Mm-hmm.
sometime soon.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a pretty good guide of what to do when we're there. But before we wrap up, is there anything else you want to mention about Oregon City? This is when people drop some lore, where they're just like, "There is a ghost," or
Oh, well, spoiler alert. That's what I was going to talk about. So, because Oregon City is just like one of the older settlements in
Mhm.
Oregon, and some of the houses are just so old, we have several pioneer cemeteries and just a lot of time to have spun the tales here.
Okay.
So, we have a lot of like ghost tours and stories of hauntings. We also like all of the settler museums and pioneer museums here all peddle that lore. And then the other thing I want to mention is if you've ever been down here, including on the jet boat tour and seen the Blue Heron Paper Mill,
Mhm.
that area has now been sold or bought back, as I would say, to the Confederated Tribes of Grand Ronde. And they are doing a complete refurbish and reclaiming of all of that land. I'd like to say it's something like 60 acres. It could be even more. And that redevelopment area will be called Tumwata, which is the original name for Willamette Falls.
Mhm.
And yeah, the vision includes like housing and commercial and cultural spaces, which I think is really important. And then a lot of riverfront access and ecological restoration. That area has just been decimated by the industries over the last almost 200 years. So
Yeah.
it's going to be pretty amazing to see what they do with the space. And it's supposed to be very community focused and really gets to honor the land's like sort of truest cultural significance, which I think in conjunction with the pioneer narrative will make this feel a lot more comfortable to have a bit more balance.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think it's going to be really beautiful when that time comes in the next few years.
That's going to be amazing. And I need you to know, for one, I was hoping that you would mention that. But two, I learned all about this on my last Willamette Falls jet boat tour. So just
On your weekly Tuesday morning jet boat tour that you take in the summer.
What if I've just been lying to you and it's just me? I just own a jet boat.
See, I was more thinking that you're lying and you've actually never been on a boat. You just tell everybody you're boating weekly.
What a cool lie. Like, they're just like, why would she lie?
That is such a cool lie.
What a cool lie.
Okay, offline, let's list some of the other lies we think are cool. That'll be fun.
I really appreciate your time, Amy. Ever since I found out you lived in Oregon City, I've been like cooking up a reason to have you on the show to talk about it, because I remember even in our brief discussion, you had a lot of affection for your new home. Even if you had these gripes, you were just like, no, it's really cool. People should know. It's like not that far away and it's awesome.
Well, I was born and raised in Oregon, and I'm so passionate about this area and the state. So if anybody ever wants a personal Amy Theberg tour of basically anywhere but Oregon City, it would be my utmost pleasure to show you some of the natural and supernatural things of Oregon City.
And I'll just swing by my weekly boat trip and I'll just wave to everyone. Yeah, just jump off. All right. Thanks again, Amy.
Absolutely. Thank you.
That's all for today here on CityCast Portland. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed the show, share it with a friend or rate and leave us a good review. It really helps us out. And don't forget, you can support this show and get some great perks by becoming a CityCast neighbor. Just visit membership.citycast.fm for all the details. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more from around the city. Until then, see you at Slims.